All right, pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can the camera see my bald spot?
Just said that on YouTube. All right, quick moment of silence.
Next time we have stuff back.
All right, I will get the meeting going. First thing on the agenda at 8:30 is the Hancock County Community Foundation grant. Is Gayle Conley or okay?
Thank you. I'm so glad I'm first. I have a court hearing. It's up to. We have received a grant from the Community Foundation in the amount of $1,470, and it will be used to train one of our serious felon drug probation officers to go to all-rise training. So it'll offset that cost. And so I'm here to see if you would approve that and then get that deposited.
It'll need to be appropriated.
So we'll have to advertise it.
All right.
So it's
I was gonna say so there's nothing in there.
it's a thumbs up.
Thumbs up, everybody.
Yep.
All right, we're good on that. Advertise.
Do you need like the fund account that we'll be putting it in, or do I just need to give that to you?
Just give it to the auditor.
I'll just do that. Easy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no need to come back next month.
All right, the next one on the agenda, 8:45 CF1 approvals. Is Nicole, come on up. If you could, before you get going, could you, because Clark's new, could you give a brief explanation of CF1s and
Yeah.
also to the public?
So CF1s are the yearly filing for all of the people that have filed for an abatement.
Okay.
So if they do not file a CF1, then that means they're non-compliant, and so then the abatement for that year, they would not get. Unless it could happen, like we've had people turn it in months later, and then it's up to council if they want to grant compliancy.
All right, thank you.
Yep. All right, so in front of you, I've got 5 CF1s. Do you want me to go through each one of them or just pick out what?
The only ones I think would be an issue to discuss at all would be 1 and 2 due to not meeting the SB 1 exactly, or surpassing both numbers, and then number 5.
Okay,
Seems
yeah.
kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's something we've not dealt with before.
Yeah. So number 1, so the SB1, so the SB1 is the original paperwork that they turn in when they ask for an abatement. So this said that they were going to have 30 employees with $3.5 million in salaries. This year they're filing and saying they got 37 employees with a little over $2 million in salaries. Now, I did know, I've started to do this, kind of comparing from year to year. So last year, they said they had 16 employees and a little over, almost shy of 1.1 million in salaries. And then it's year 3 of 10. We've been granting them compliancy year after year. And then you said number 2. Mm-hmm. So yeah, their SB1 states 30 employees with 3.5 million in salaries, versus they're filing 32 employees with 2.3 million in salaries. Last year, they actually had more employees and a little bit higher in salaries. They are year 5 and 6 of 10 years.
Do you have a question, Mary?
I didn't want to interrupt, I'm
Oh, that's
sorry.
fine.
I just
No, you're
thought we were
fine.
going to talk about them individually.
Oh, that's fine.
But I guess my comment is that the Ambrose is not meeting their salary commitment that they made on their original SB1. So, but yet they have a few more employees than they stated on their SB1. So I would not be opposed to sending them a letter and asking them for some sort of explanation as to why this, we base this on bringing good jobs and good salaries to the county, and if they're not meeting what they sold us on the SB1 is their original estimate of what they plan on employing and what they plan on paying them. So if they're not paying them what the SB1 is saying, then I'd like to know why.
Yeah, I did the quick math. The SB 1 would be $119,000 per employee, and what they submitted is only $55,000 per employee.
Well, it's evident, though, to these CF1s that the same number was used for everybody that applied for tax abatement. 3.5 million, 3.5 million, 3.5 million. So I'm sure there wasn't any thought that went into how much it was per employee. It was just here's the HEDC said, here's the application, this is what everybody uses, and that's what was passed. So they probably didn't have any documentation for their, when they applied for the tax abatement.
So I do want to point out, so all of these buildings are Ambrose buildings, and this was one abatement that they said, this was one abatement for 4 buildings. So the numbers that are coming from is, they said that they were going to have 120 employees, so I just divided that by 4 buildings, and that's how I got my number. So
Oh, okay.
that's how you
that's how the
see
number really comes
those
from,
numbers,
yeah.
because it's all on one abatement.
For me, I see number one, I see an improvement, a tremendous improvement. So to me, I'm kind of curious, are they fully staffed now, or are they going to keep growing like they did in the last year? This is why sometimes I wish they would come in and say, hey, here's our issue, here's what we're dealing with, I hope you'll let us continue the abatement. So that's my thought on it.
Now, remind me, we have choices, right? You can deem someone non-compliant, you have to do so by a certain date. So if we wanted to ask them to come speak on this, are you on a deadline?
Yeah, so I am on a deadline. So when these CF1s are turned in, you have 45 days to present them in front of council. And then council then can make a decision of what they would like to do. If there's no decision made, then it's automatically granted compliancy. So we have 3 options that are listed on the CF1. The first one, property owner is in substantial compliance. The second one the property owner is not in substantial compliance. And then the third one says other, and then we would specify. And then we would tell them a time to come back and explain why.
And you said it's the top 3 were all on one application and you divided, right?
That's correct.
So it was the 3,000,000.58 times 3 was the salary number they proposed. So then where do we fall?
I see now what you're saying, okay. Because
10,
number three, it says they don't have 30 employees and 3.5 million. They have 2,113 employees with 94 million.
Correct. And that is the
So
first
maybe that one should have a higher number, like 9.
Yeah, I don't think dividing them equally
Yeah,
is
that-
probably
yeah, that
is
was-
the right
yeah, I
approach.
think that might be.
It was just one SB1 for 4 buildings. So
Okay.
that's why that's how I got what I got.
What is the 4th building? Do you know, I know they haven't turned in a CF1 for the 4th building, but is that one?
I don't know the names of the
Okay.
buildings.
So it looks like if you add up all the millions they've got here, they're paying 98 million, and they have plenty of employees, so I get it now. I really appreciate the explanation here today.
Yeah,
I don't
think
have an issue with it then.
On the whole, they've definitely surpassed on
Yeah.
both.
Right.
All right, so let's go to number 5 then, where
Okay.
I don't think we've had this issue before, because it deals with an EDA.
Yes, yeah. So they turned in their CF1. They have not pulled any permits. The parcel is not even in their name. They have an abatement. They have an EDA. And so I went through their paperwork, and per the EDA, it says commence construction project no later than March of 2025 with completion 15 months after construction. So like I said, they've not pulled any permits. I checked into that. I checked to see if there was any transfer into their name. Nothing's been transferred. And then I also looked at the SB1 because I've got to look at both the EDA and the SB1. And the SB1 stated pretty much the same information, that they had to start construction by March of 2025 and completion by December 31st of 2026.
Did anyone call them and ask them if they had planned on?
I have not talked to
Building.
anyone because I wanted to get guidance from the council
I
of
would
what I
think that
should
would
do.
be the first thing to do, is just give them a call. I can remember when I was upstairs, I would keep track of the abatements applications, and if time passed and I had not gotten anything, I would usually, at the time it was Skip, I would call Skip and he'd come over and we'd walk through all the ones that were outstanding, and he either knew, nope, they're not building it, nope, they're not building it, or we would reach out and find out the status and update the file. So
Okay.
I would think, you can either work with Randy on that or call them directly and just say what you got here and are you still going to build it. But with the EDA coming into play, I don't know that the commissioners are even going to go down that road anymore. I know they're not going to continue. doing EDAs, but this one being in place when they originally filed, I don't know if that makes a difference to them or not, but that's up to them.
It sounds like that they're going to have to reapply for tax abatement if they ever build a building there. Because if they haven't started by now and it's a year later, they're not going to complete the building this year. They haven't even pulled a permit. So
Right.
we could touch bases with them, but it sounds like probably that if they do start over a project sometime in the future, they'll probably have to come back and start all over.
So that leads to my question then, do I just put not in compliance on the CF1 that they submitted then? I mean, there's no building, but.
I would like for you to either reach out to Randy or to Ambrose directly and just get confirmation on their intent. And then if they still plan on building it, yes, they're non-compliant. And we need to figure out if we want to have them come back in and work with them on the dates, or maybe they're just not going to build it, and then you won't have to fool with it anymore.
Okay.
But then we would have to, I mean, is the consensus that if they're just going to sit on this land indefinitely, that we would revoke this abatement?
I would
Can't have an
think that'd be my opinion.
It will expire. is
If
what'll
they said,
happen.
no, we're starting in April and we're going to build the building, it's going to be 3 or 4 months late from this thing here, that might be something different. But if they said, no, we haven't got any initial plans, then why would we just leave it open?
Yeah, well, I think by law, you can't have an abatement on just land.
You
Right.
cannot.
I was just on improvements only.
Right.
So are we voting today?
Yeah,
to make them substantially in
yes,
compliance?
I need a motion for the first 4, if we all agree, for it to be signed off that it's in compliance.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the abatement application, or the abatement CF1s presented as being compliant for items 1 through 4. Item 5, we are asking for additional information on whether or not they are going to actually build the building, or have they adjusted their timeline? And if so, what is it?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Is now, or do you want to come up and see me afterwards?
I have a meeting afterwards, so I can sign afterwards.
Sign them afterwards?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Real quick on number 4, they've been paying their 5% abatement fee, I assume.
Yeah, everyone is current on their 5% abatement
Okay.
fee. Everyone is current on all their EDA payments.
Okay.
I just mailed out letters yesterday for all EDA payments. And then we've also submitted for approval for taxes, so then the tax bills will go out here soon.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Do you recall how much those EDA payments totaled?
Yes, actually, I brought that down. So there are a total of 4 properties that will be paying into our EDA fund with a grand total amount of $508,395.43.
That's for their first installment.
So 2 of them will be first installment, and then the other 2 will be their second installment. So the 2 existing ones are GDI and 70 Connect 3, and then the new ones are Red Rock and VTRE.
Any other questions? All right, thanks. All right, since it's not 9 o'clock yet for the public hearing, we will skip down to action items. The first one on the agenda is budget meeting update. Gayle.
Yes, last week we went over balances, which all looked good. We touched on the next GO bond, where some of those exact expenditure numbers are still a little up in the air, but I think we'll be circling back on that. And we did talk about a 2027 salary increase for employees. And I believe we do have that, some updates from Greg, right, on the next meeting agenda, because we couldn't ascertain if the sustainability was reflecting the drop for the 27th pay that happens this year. So stay tuned, right, on everything, but balances looked very healthy. We did have one outstanding item to address on jury pay, and it was that on the next agenda also, correct?
It's on today's.
Oh, this
It's
one,
on
that's right.
today's.
Oh, that in an action item, got it. That's all.
Okay. I have the meeting minutes in front of me. Any changes needed?
I move we approve minutes of February 11th, 2026.
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'll abstain for absence.
Okay, I'm sorry. Number 3, auditor business.
I do not have any auditor business.
No auditor business. Check. All right, solid waste management letter. So in your packet, there is a solid waste letter addressed to Deb Carnes.
For appropriating money.
I did have a question about that. So is that suggesting it was money budgeted in '25 that did not get spent, right? Did we encumber it?
It's just cash.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not appropriated.
okay.
So we have to advertise to appropriate it, right? So it's a thumbs up.
Correct. So thumbs up, everyone? Okay. Please advertise. All right, I'll take care of number 4. 5, NineStar grant BHC appropriate 68, can't vote no, Kent, $68.25.
That's just over my threshold.
I know, man. It's not, I know it's not worth your time, but we have some time here, so.
This is an appropriation as well.
Yeah, we need
So thumbs up?
yeah,
Thumbs up.
to advertise.
All right, took 10 seconds. All right, number 6, resolution to close dormant funds. All right, what's the resolution number on this?
Resolution number will be 2026-3-1.
All right, is there any discussion about the funds or the balances or?
Will we be doing this a second time on some of those old PO bonds, or is there, I mean, I know there's balances that's floating around with that.
There are 2.
There's 2 on here. I missed them then. I'm sorry.
I think there's at the 4603, is that one of them?
Oh, yeah, I see it now. Yeah, I thought there were a few that we had small balances in.
And this will, just out of curiosity, close the fund and eliminate it entirely, or just net it to 0 in case we have future incomes?
I'm sorry.
Just out of curiosity, does it close the fund like the fund number goes away, or it just puts them down to 0 and they stay open in case something comes later?
It puts them down to 0 and then we make it inactive. So
But it'll always
will
still
not
be-
continue to show up on reports, but the fund will always stay there.
There goes my nacho
Never get
grant.
rid of anything.
My favorite one. It's nacho
We
grant.
never get rid of anything in government. It's somewhere there.
No.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve resolution?
Yes.
Okay, I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-3-1, listing the accounts that have fund balances that we are going to write off. I guess, do they go to the general fund? Where does the money go?
Yes, they
General
do.
fund?
General fund.
Yes, okay, that's all transferred to general fund.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2026-3-1 as presented in our packet. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Who was the second on that?
Kent Fisk.
Yeah, okay.
All right, number 7, salary ordinance amendment for PT Veteran Service Officer. Part-time. What is the ordinance number for this?
2026-3A.
I move we approve the salary ordinance for 2026-3A for the Veteran Service Officer.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve ordinance number 2026-3A as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, next up, number 8, salary ordinance amendment for courthouse security officers. And I'm guessing this one is 2026-3B, is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Catch on quick.
Yeah, I do. I caught that on day one. I just want to make sure that, sometimes they do give something weird, you're like, what? And I'm like, I'm not going to ask. It's F. We got, that's a Frank. All right, any discussion or,
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 2026-3B.
I'll second.
okay, I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 2026-3B regarding the salary ordinance amendment for courthouse security officers. Any discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, number 9, final action item, jury pay fund.
Well, we discussed that.
Oh, we can't boo. This is.
You can't, okay.
Who's booing it on?
Boo me or the judge?
No, I moved the jury pay
You
for
better boo me. I don't know. I just feel like if we have the judges take care of it, it adds one more layer. If we watch it, the auditor watches it for us, then we just vote to advertise and then we do it. The other way, then the judge has got to come, somebody from his office, and talk to us, and then, so it adds one extra step, and I don't know why we'd want to do that. And it's always negative in the end, and we want to make sure they hit the right date on that for the auditor, because she can't be negative.
Where's the money come from?
The money coming from?
The money's in the account right now?
No, this
It's
is
negative almost
Yeah.
20.
Right, so where are we gonna take the money
I
from?
would
We
say
have
we
to
take it
decide
from
that.
general fund because this is a true expense to the county.
Yeah, see, we don't usually do it right now, but it's not usually this
I mean, it's a true expense.
this much.
Right.
It's not a one.
This time of year.
I would say
It's not paid, it's not a fee fund, so it's not.
It is
user-
a fee fund,
So
yes.
that's what I was asking.
Sorry, yes.
If there's not enough fees.
So it'll
There's
bring
not
in
enough fees.
income, it'll bring in some income that will cover
Yeah.
some of the ongoing
From the
expense.
courts.
What, you don't have handy, do you, how much income it brought in last year versus expense, do you?
Yeah, but we
That's-
put,
Not
we
enough.
put money in it every year. We always have.
Yeah.
So is 50,000 would bring us about 30 out of the red, is that?
We reached out to the judges and they said that they're having, one court is having 2 jury trials a month and the other one said 4 a year. And we are already this short, so I'm not, that's the information that they gave us. We tried to get some information, but that's all we have. So we're, what is it, negative 19,000?
I'm gonna throw
We were
out-
thinking if we could have an additional 50, just kind of get us through these next few months and see where we're at. That's basically historically what we've always done, just kind of.
And we've used food and beverage before, but we can use something else.
Yeah.
I agree general, because this is an ongoing expense. It doesn't look like the fees are gonna start covering the expense, so I agree putting it in general makes the most sense. Taking the money out of general fund.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and finish that with a motion to appropriate.
Hold on,
Wait a
there,
minute.
Yeah, I don't know if
Sure
we
we
can
can
do
do
that.
that.
State Board of Accounts will let us. General fund, that money is pretty specific on what it's used for.
oh, really?
That's why we
wow.
never use
Yeah.
general fund.
What do people
Property
do if they
tax
don't have
money
food and
has to be
beverage?
used
I mean,
on
where they get it?
specific items.
Yeah.
Trouble.
And it can't always be commingled with other funds.
Could we go ahead and have a motion if in fact State Board of Accounts allows that, we can pay it out of general. If not, we can pay it out of.
Yeah, I just, for counties that do not have a food and beverage fund, where do
Where do
they
they pay it
find the
then?
money?
Yeah, I think I'd just reach out to State Board of Accounts on that and have them give us an explanation.
And my next question before we make a motion is, assuming it is allowed in county general, do you already have a line of appropriated funds to take that from? No, you'd have to
Comes out
appropriate.
of
It would be a fund check, it's just
Yeah.
cash.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to, if possible, prioritize advertising and allocating 50,000 from the county general to cover the needs of jury fund. And if that is not allowable,
to advertise for the 50,000 from food and beverage.
Is that a fine motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? All right, motion
Now
carries.
you know why I boo it.
Yeah. All right, we have 5 minutes.
Wow.
Hey, you guys got to put more stuff before the 9 o'clock hearing instead of, you know. I don't think the abatement application discussion.
We could start it, but I don't think we can do it in 5 minutes.
Oh, no, yeah.
Well, I guess we can start it.
All right, everybody should have a copy of the abatement application. I sent it out to you at one time. I don't know if you brought it with you. Robin and I and Gary Poole have met, and Bill, now that he's available, will be at our next meeting. But Gary had given us just some basic opinions on just cleaning up the application and rewording a few things that really didn't affect the application itself per se, but things that we did discuss and do was we removed the paragraph that talked about the EDAs. And Bill concurred that he didn't see any reason to have discussion about the EDA on the application anymore. So that's something that, unless you guys have an opinion on, that's what we did. Robin, do you want to jump in with anything? One thing I do know, abatement schedules, we actually printed on the application that we will follow a 10-year real estate property abatement for 10-year at 10-year increments down from 100 to 10 to 0, and personal property of 5-year abatements, 100 down to 20 and 0. That's what we put on the application. Do you think we need to, or does anybody want to stick to that and that's our plan period? Or do we want to add a line that says other?
I would have an other.
Want something
Yeah.
to state if they want to propose their application differently?
Yeah, and I suggested, maybe even, I saw some of the other counties did, put on there something about the 5 and the 10-year maximum.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if they see we just say 5 and 10, they could come and say, hey, your application says I can have 10. Well, maybe not.
So put something that says,
Just, I don't know, just maximum amount, 10 years, maximum amount, 5 years. I think
Okay.
that's
That way
the
it's
least
clear.
amount of words.
yeah. We don't have to break it down. We can just say for real
No.
estate, max 10-year, personal property, max 5-year.
Can I say something about the EDAs? My opinion on the EDAs, of course, Clark wasn't here, but we had to do that because of the laws that were set at the time. And the laws have changed, so
I wasn't here for the EDA.
You weren't here for the EDAs? It's a flawed system, but it was a flawed system before. That's why we had to make another flawed law. And it does add an extra layer of confusion to the companies. We do have trouble collecting that money. We do have trouble convincing their attorneys about signing those things and all of that. And it also separates commissioners from the council on how the money is spent. So there is a lot of flaws in that EDA system. And now that the money can go where we need it to go, that comes out of there, all the money, there's no reason for us to throw this extra piece of junk law into the scenario. And that's how I feel right now. So, I mean, I'm happy that we're not going to be chasing any more of that additional scenario.
I think there's a great possibility that what we were doing with ADAs was a catalyst for this state
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
changing the law
Yeah.
so that you don't have to take that extra step just to pay firemen or pay policemen. So, yeah, it was it was a good idea at the time, but unnecessary now, I agree.
Another thing that, and it just came up today, is we had 4 buildings on one application. Would it be to our benefit to ask them to fill out an individual application for each building? We can still say that's under the umbrella of $500, that they don't have to do 5 per building.
The only thing I question is, I went through some of that material that Bill sent us, and I think that the law says they can do that, this state law. So I don't know if we can make it less.
Just because the state says they can do it, as a county, I think that you could ask them if they would do it. I mean, I don't know. I
think
would
it would
talk to
help
Scott about
separate.
that. I mean,
Yeah,
you could
I'm like
request
Mary,
that
I
they
would
do one
pref-
for each building.
Yeah, I would prefer to have one. I just don't want to.
One building could be thriving and another one's not
Right.
doing well, but an example today again was, we don't know exactly which one's thriving and which one's not.
And they do have, estimated start date, estimated completion date. We saw in the CF ones from earlier, it would just be, we would have clear documentation about the per building intent.
So the answer on that is yes, let's try
I
to put
like
something there.
separate ones.
Okay.
Mhm. And that's fine if they don't have to pay the fee on everyone, or
Yeah,
if they do pay the fee, I don't really care
I'm not
about that.
chasing the money, I'm chasing the
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna take, if that's a good stopping point for now, we'll suspend that discussion for a moment so we can do the 9 o'clock public hearing, additional appropriations. All right, first up on the public hearing is Fund 1001, County General, in the amount of $511,071.60. I will open up the public hearing at this time. Anybody want to say anything? All right, not hearing anything, I will close the public hearing and entertain a discussion from the council or a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the appropriation, county general, $511,071.60.
I do have one quick question, and I just need to clear this in my mind. We're doing these appropriations for the jail, like $267,800 for matron, assistant, cook, so on. Is that not already in their budget?
That's the new courthouse security that you guys agreed to?
That's the line they'll be.
So the, say that again?
The new courthouse security guards that you guys have agreed to let Brad hire?
For this year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Some
and what
start
did we do,
this year.
like 5? Was that the number, 5?
Yeah, the total cost was 361, but I believe this is just the salaries, but the 361 Brad gave us was with all the, 30% for benefits.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the head went up.
I
We
was
just
trying to
broke it out
understand why
per
it's an
line,
additional,
so.
but now I see. Okay, that was, I saw.
But we have a motion, right?
Yes, you have a motion on
I'll
the table.
second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second, so is there any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. I'm guessing the public doesn't have the breakdown like we have in front of us.
Yeah.
So,
So we need to explain
Yeah,
a
that's
little.
what we post your packet on the website.
oh, okay, so they should
And
stick
this
it in
is,
there.
this is the new advertising. This is how
Yeah.
we advertise on Gateway now.
Okay.
So we kind of liked it. Instead of our forms that we were doing, we're just giving you what we're advertising at
That's nice.
Gateway. So it's a public access.
I know, it was a little different last time, that's why I
Yeah, it
bring it
is.
up. All right. Next up is the Fund 1135, cumulative bridge of 1.5 million. On the page, if you're on the website, I guess you could look and see that 1 million's for a bridge and culvert repair and $500,000's for large culverts. I will open the public hearing for any discussion from the public. Any discussion from the council? Okay, not hearing any, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the appropriations and cumulative bridge 1135.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the 1135 cumulative bridge of 1.5 million. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, next up, Fund 1233 LIT Correctional Facility. This is the amount of 5.5 million, and this is the capital improvement to the county jail for 5.5 million. I will open up the public hearing for discussion from the public. Okay. Anything from the council on this one?
No, I just think we ought to comment, this is for, if I'm correct, this is for the sheriff's building.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah, if we're making
That's
comments for the
building, yeah.
public, it is a new structure, a separate structure that I believe will both preserve our equipment and such longer, but is also intended to offer some new inmate opportunities in the future related to programs and maybe like learning vehicle maintenance trades and things. So, and paying for it with cash instead of borrowing on taxpayers. I would note that as well.
Yeah, it's also for evidence, I think, to be stored, like a big
Yeah.
vehicle or something, yeah.
Yeah, and Brad explained to me one day too, like, they had a car that was in an accident and, you know, so, and they had no place to put it but outside. And so it was all rusted by the time the court's situation was over. And so they had to replace that car. I think I got that right.
Okay.
I'm sure it is. I mean, you know, we can't take something for evidence and then.
Destroyed.
All right, anything else? All right, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the appropriation, Fund 1233, Lit Correctional Facility, $5.5 million.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. All right, Fund 1234, Lit Correctional Facility Subfund, $160,000. This has a jail navigator for $80,000, overtime of $10,000, FICA $8,000, group insurance of $50,000, and PERF for $12,000. I open the public hearing for any discussion from the public. Anything from the council? All right, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move we approve Fund 1234 for $160,000.
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second on the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, Fund 1237, Opioid Restricted, in the amount of $835,297.91.
16.5.
I left one off the agenda.
Oh, boy.
Typo. It was advertised.
Oh.
It just isn't on.
Okay, well, I'll go back to it after this one.
All right.
Opioid Restricted. I'll open the public hearing. Anybody want to discuss? The public.
What is miscellaneous, oh, I'm not public yet.
All right, council, any discussion?
Oh, sorry. Miscellaneous expense for $835,000.
That is the restricted opioid funds.
That's paying all.
That's all of them. So that,
So we can
and this is so we can
And the
pay
money.
for Aspire, the
Church and.
Church of God, and
Talitha.
Talitha Kum.
Okay.
Yeah, TK. There's a restricted and unrestricted, so
Yeah.
Right.
to appropriate it, so it can be spent.
I move.
Okay, I close the public hearing. I'll take a motion.
I move we approve the opioid restricted to fund those programs, Fund 1237.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to approve Fund 1237 in the amount of $835,297.91. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, there was one item left off of this agenda document, but it was published for the public. It's the LIT PSAP in the amount, and it's Fund 1235, and it's in the amount of $16,549.77 for the 911 equipment maintenance and repair expense, which they came to last month, and presented to us. I open it to public hearing. All right, any discussion with the council on that one? All right, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion for Fund 1235.
Make a motion to approve the appropriation for Lit PSAP 1235, $16,549.77.
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. All right, Fund 1238, Opioid Unrestricted. This is $254,557.94, and I open it to public hearing for anybody from the public to discuss. Well, at least it's not hailing, but I hear heavy rain. So,
I didn't
Do I
my
have
umbrella
anything
in
from the
either.
council to discuss on opioid unrestricted? All right, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move we appropriate the opioid unrestricted fund 1238, the amount presented of $254,557.94.
I'll second that.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, Fund 8892, Title 4E, Foster Care, in the amount of $6,500. This is for juvenile pauper expense. I open the public hearing for any discussion. Anything from the council? I close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the appropriation of Fund 8892 for $6,500.
Second?
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, Fund 9110, NineStar Community Trust Grant in the amount of $486.86, which is to be used for the clothing in the Public Defender's Office. I open it for public hearing. Anybody from the public want to say anything? Anybody from the council want to say anything? All right, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for NineStar Community Trust Grant, 9110, $486.86. And it's for the public defender. And I'd like to make a comment when it says clothing, it's not really for them. It's clothing. Sometimes when people come to court, they don't have clothing that's appropriate for court. So,
And NineStar donates for that.
I have a motion.
A second.
I have a second. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Okay, public hearing for reduction appropriation, Kent Fisk's and my favorite, right? Yeah. This is on the other paper. It's Fund 1112 Lit Economic Development. It's for the Steinmeier Road. $2 million. Open the public hearing. Any discussion from the public, from the council?
Did Gary, did you get some grant money or what's?
yes, we weren't sure if we were going to get the grant or not. We did.
Well, thank you for that. It's always nice to find out you got a grant to cover $2 million that you thought you had to spend.
All right, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the reduction appropriation, Fund 1112, Lit Economic Development for $2 million.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, that will conclude our public hearing items. And we will return back to the discussion on the abatement application. Mary.
Okay, I'm just going to read through some of the drafts on the application. They're pretty quick, and then if someone feels that we need to discuss it further, we can. The applicant further agrees to the imposition of a fee equal to the lesser of 5% of the reduction in property taxes for each year generated by the property tax phase-in, or $100,000, which is the monies that goes to HEDC. So that's, I think we've actually passed a resolution on that, so that is just tying that back into that. The next one is applicant further agrees to the economic development agreement, which we can take that one out. Applicant further agrees that if the proposed development changes by 25% or more, the applicant will refile this application with updated new information and supply a new declaratory resolution to be considered. No filing fee required. I don't know who tracks that, though. I mean, if they decide they're going to, if they file their application and we approve the abatement and then they decide they're going to extend the size of the building by more than 25% just because they've decided to after the application. Right now it states that they have to come back and at least explain that to us and we can stamp off on it, but I don't know really where the...
We would certainly review that based off of the assessed value that's rolled to us, but
That's after the
that's
fact.
after the fact. So I'm not,
I'm assuming they have to get a permit for that
the
change.
permit would say what the changes
It's
would be.
just something's got to trigger that to make its way back to us.
Well, it'd be in the planning department, right?
Yes.
I remember when we put this in play because we were worried people were coming to say, I have a 300,000 square foot building. And then just because they had enough room, they would go build the million, right? And we wouldn't know till it was up and running. And so, and I don't even know 25% is the right number. We had some pretty pro-development contributions in that discussion. It could be less, you know, it could say if you're gonna change it by 15%. So I'm open to suggestions, but I do like, even if it's not being tracked minute by minute, telling someone, if you change these plans, you have to come back here before you go build that. I do like doing that, however it's the best
So
way
we
to
can
do
just
that.
restate it at the application, when they're in front of us, to make sure they get it, that they have to come back. But do we want something to put it in check?
I would leave it in writing somewhere that if you change your building plans after your abatement's approved, that you need to come back here first, but
Might be something that we
doesn't it
could
say
check with the planning department
That's
to have
in
them
writing
flag
right there.
anything.
Yeah, it's
You know,
Yeah,
flag
I was gonna
it
say, it's
so
in
that
Yeah.
they could let us know.
yeah.
I
But the
don't-
problem with, I don't know if planning's on top of knowing which ones we granted abatement. I mean, do they?
Right, but I don't think you can address that issue in the application.
No, I'm
Do you
addressing
know if
it
there's a
to
process
the
in
group
Right.
here as to how, or if we want to
We start with planning.
put
wouldn't it?
something in place that requires them to come back and they know it. I don't know that, and Scott, you would, maybe, planning doesn't know which buildings we've abated per se when they're building, to know to tell them to come back
I
here.
doubt it. I've never asked them
Yeah,
that
I wouldn't
question.
think they would.
I think at the time, it would definitely be extra work on someone, and we could set something up where, you know, Nicole emails whoever's designated in planning and said, you know, for note, when these permits come in, if there's, you know, if they don't align with this, please notify. And we don't have a lot of them, right? We're not abating buildings. We haven't been, so it's not like it'd be a daily chore.
I agree. I think if Nicole knows that we've granted an abatement, which she would, that she would just have a person in planning that she's already spoke to about this and say, I'm going to shoot you an email whenever an abatement has been granted on this building. So if you receive any additional permitting on that, let me know.
I guess I'd be curious how worried we are. I think I, heard if you plan or submit for 300,000 square feet and you build 1 million, that's probably going to be a big issue. If we are worried about it, I would propose we put a monetary fine towards it, because that will get their attention. They will flag it. I think we still go down our route, but in my experience, my agency, we have several things that our licensees are supposed to notify us. The ones that they get fined for, they do a really good job. The ones that they don't, we really have to do our outreach to stay on top of it. So
When does the fine kick in? After the fact, though?
it's
Or-
after the fact. So I mean,
For me, I thought similar but different. I thought, hey, if you change the plans, like, 300,000 to 1 million, you may lose your abatement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should just put in there, you may lose your abatement.
If
Yeah,
you
I
do
think-
not.
Without
I
notifying
would say
us.
that would be incentive enough.
Yeah. More
Yes.
than a fine.
I think that would take care of it.
I could get behind that, because that's
Yeah,
just
that's
like
better
a
than-
fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Your fine is your
so,
abatement, so that, I think, would get their attention. And
Word that to me again real quick, Scott.
But, yeah, like
mine or Becky's?
I don't care who's, just something I can write down that everybody has the same consensus
Before we
on.
do that real quick, is 25% too liberal? Do we want to tell people modification that's even less than?
Failure to get council approval for a modification could result in
Yeah.
loss of your, of the abatement.
And we could just leave it at
Something
that
like
with no
that, right.
percentages.
Yeah,
If you're
no
going to
percent-
change this at all,
Right.
I
Well-
like that.
Although reduction,
Yeah, and sometimes-
I don't think the public or us would get too upset about a
Yeah,
reduction.
I think that's why we put the 25%, was if it's just a little bump out on the end or something that they've decided to put a little utility closet of some kind or something, I don't know that we want to waste their time or ours.
do we put it at 5%? That way that gives them a buffer.
So if you're building a 100,000 square foot building, if it increased by more than 5%, then is that enough to
fine.
make them? come back?
Yeah, I like that.
5%?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will, Nicole just let me know that she does check that, but it is after the fact, but she hasn't had anyone increase their square footage, just so you know. It's not a common
Not an
practice
issue.
here.
It's not a big issue.
But it could be, so.
Yeah, and when I was
allow that in
upstairs,
there.
it did happen a few
Yeah.
times. And I don't know that there were abatements per se tied to them, but I remember buildings not being built to the size that the permit said. And that's why it's important that the assessor always goes out on those buildings, because
Yes.
the permit could change and we wouldn't know it. So any change or modification to building will require documentation to council. Is that what you wanted to say?
Documentation, the right word, Scott?
A prior approval or?
Council approval for abatement to be active.
I guess I would lean towards approval, because if we just do notification, that still means
Yeah.
they could build double the building as long as they told us.
And modification, I'm not sure if I even care about the modification, because it could be an internal of the building. They've decided that they're not going to put a mezzanine in, or they've decided they are going to put a mezzanine in. So are we going to make them come back? They didn't really change the footprint of the building at all.
No, we don't want that. It'd just be size
double the building and put it
size
data.
increase
Yeah, I think,
modification.
yeah.
But I think we want to know if it's going to go from really small to large. We need to definitely know that.
Okay. I've just put any changes in size to the building will require additional approval by council.
Will require maybe you to appear and get approval from the
Okay.
council. So they'd actually have to come in.
To be there. That's good.
Do we want to use that 5%? Any size change in excess of 5%?
I
of
changed
proposed-
that.
Oh, you
Yeah,
got
I
that.
did. I changed. Turned into a messy one. For spec buildings, the developer will agree that an annual update is required directly with the county. This will include an update as soon as the building is leased. After 1 year from date of completion, if the building is not sold or leased, the annual update will include the reason the building has not been sold
I
or
don't think-
leased.
I don't think they do that a lot of times.
I don't think they ever do it.
No.
Says the county will continue to review the project subject to the abatement as long as an additional information is provided. The owner will still be required to file a standard CF1, and that's, yeah. But I don't know that we're even enforcing that paragraph right now.
No.
Can I ask a question? This may not be, but what, okay, so if you say someone has 1 million square foot and now they're gonna make it 2 million, okay? Is there anywhere in the paperwork that says that the extra 1 million square foot has to be in the same use as the 1 million square foot? Like, okay, so now you got 1 million square foot, and you're gonna put a 2 million square foot, and you're gonna put a data center in the other 1 million.
Well, there are some, you can't abate just any kind of building, right? It's industrial, that's
You know
outside
what
my
I'm saying? They
expertise,
could
but
just put something in the other one that we don't agree with. That would
Well, I would
cause a
think
bunch more problems.
Well, then you wouldn't give an abatement if you don't agree with it.
Well, yeah, but
the permitting will show
it would
whether or
have
not
to
it falls
say,
under the
it would have to say
zoning.
not only size, it would have to say use.
But if it falls within the guidelines of the planning department zoning requirements, we don't get involved with that.
Yes, so the only time it would matter is if on an abatement. If you're like, okay, this is gonna have low-paying jobs, not gonna help the public, gonna destroy the environment, or not have any jobs at all, you're like, okay, we're not giving you guys an abatement for this. Versus something that's coming in with paying 6 figures to employees, gonna hire just Hancock County residents, really gonna help our people. People get excited about it, lots of jobs. I mean, that's something you're gonna give an abatement for more likely.
Well, they've already got the abatement.
On the.
you're
You're
saying
wondering-
they
you're
come
saying-
in
I'm wondering
spec.
though if we could, if they change the use of the facility to something different that's still underneath their zoning capabilities. Okay, test animals. What if in their zoning, it's already in the zoning that they could do test animals and there's not, they don't have to apply for new zoning and they build 1 million square foot onto their building for a test animal facility.
So then in your
And, you know,
application, you may want to have something to
Use,
say
that's
what
what
use, and they have to give you all the items of use they could possibly use.
Right, because they have to come with and tell us what the building is to start with.
Well, they're going to tell you, part of the application's always been, how many jobs are you bringing? How much are you paying these people? Because that's always been a massive concern when you're
Right.
giving
Well,
it.
Right.
I've been here 5 years and something near 100% has been, this is speculative. We have no idea what's going to happen here.
Yeah.
You know, so don't have experience with, we're going to do this specific thing and then making sure that's what they do because it's always up in the air.
After they build the building and we give the abatement to it, and then they search for a tenant, I don't know that
We have any control.
we get involved at all.
But if you have a use, and they say, and they give you a list of 10
But
uses.
this isn't that. This is a spec building.
I was just asking the question,
So there, yeah, and it's a good question.
because I've said no to a couple things. I mean, I've
I
said
have
no to,
too.
somebody brought a test animal facility by my desk, I said no.
Yeah. I mean, you could add a line for, you know, in non-speculative abatements, if proposed,
Well, this is just, this
it is
paragraph
specifically spec.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
then
they're
I don't
just-
think we can do anything there.
I think you'd still, they give you like a general answer to a use, like they would give you like manufacturing, distribution.
one of the
I mean,
lists
that's what I would do if I was their attorney. I would say, I'd
But
give a
they-
general thing. And I would say excluding data centers or excluding tests, things that bother Kent, you know?
Well,
You know?
I mean, does it bother anybody else? I don't know.
Well, yeah, it does, it does.
but-
It does, it bothers
It
the
does.
public. But, you
Typical
know.
spec buildings down there usually are a big shell building with
Right.
big overhead doors. And then it just sits there and they wait for a tenant to take the whole building, or they'll start subdividing it down into smaller
Right.
pieces for different tenants. Occasionally, there'll be one that'll be built that looks like an office. You know, lots of glass front and all that. And they're searching for the same kind of tenant, but I don't think we ever get that information.
Okay, I mean, I was just asking the question, because I could see a thing where someone could say, okay, now we need half your electrical capacity for the rest of the county.
Right.
Or we need all your water.
Yeah, I like
we
Kent.
need all
I'm
your
concerned
water.
about that.
The key then
And
would
then
be
we're-
to not approve speculative abatements, and then
Well,
you don't have to worry about that.
Hey, remember, that's what I ran on, so.
Well, there we go. So it says, for spec buildings, the developer will agree that an annual update is required directly with the county. Are we still going to do that? This will include an update as soon as the building is leased. So it's telling them that they want, or we want, notification of who your tenant is as soon as you lease it.
I think the problem with that too is, right,
Doesn't
okay, so if
happen.
zoning allows it, they come give us the update that they've leased their building. Is there even grounds to call somebody non-compliant on a granted abatement if they're doing the salaries, if they have the number of employees, just because we don't like who they ended up leasing to? I don't know that we have any
Well, and
ground
we'll
to
never
stand
know
on.
that. We'll never know. If it's a tenant, our application is just for the building. That tenant may have 100 employees, or they may have 5.
Yeah.
And we'll never know, because and I remember making calls on some of these, and the owner of the building will say, I don't ask for that from the tenant, so they don't have it to pass on. Plus, they look at it as confidential information, and they want you to call the tenant directly. And so it's like, and now he's doing all that in the assessor's office, because we at the time are taxing personal property, so I want to make sure that the tenants would pop in down there and we would know, because we wouldn't know that they've leased the building. So we would do a follow-up on any spec buildings upstairs, but down here, I don't know.
You know, here's a thought. You know, I hope nobody brings a application for a spec warehouse, but let's say they did, right? Instead of trying to define it in here, could we have a standard document that Scott has on hand that that we have people commit to, that says that if we do approve a speculative abatement, it is not to be assumed to include these types of uses, and we could delineate whatever we think are bothersome things that could slide
Or
through.
they would have to come back to us if it was, you know, because they're telling us to start with, it's going to be distribution or something, or manufacturing, one of the two.
Not in a spec.
But
Because they're
Well,
just
then
looking
they'd
for,
have
they're
to-
looking for tenants.
On
all
a
they're
spec
looking for.
building, I think they should go through that next layer
Yeah.
to
I
say
do too.
that we're initially saying is this, and if it changes from that, we'll come back. Because, yeah, we don't want them coming in with something. I'm also probably one of the only ones that's going to propose we have something in there if the owner of the building or leasing of the building is from a foreign country. Because we have a foreign country owning one of our buildings now, and I'm not happy with it. And I have voted for
Can we
that.
ask that?
Yeah.
Absolutely, we can.
You can ask,
I mean,
Well, and
let's
but
say,
then
say,
you,
can
but
we-
somebody might, you know, if you wouldn't
Discrimination.
take it, yeah, they
Yeah.
might
but
challenge
that doesn't mean I have to vote for them.
no, but then I
Because we
wonder
have a
about
Chinese
discrimination.
building in our thing that I wouldn't vote for now.
Well, and we get in the weeds on the legal verbiage because, you know, is it where the business is domiciled? Is it the residency of the,
Well, yeah, I mean, you could have,
Managing
some of the
members, is
principles
it-
might be
Yeah,
foreign.
but
Yeah, well, the shareholders, yeah.
Well, and the
Best
one Kent's
corporation.
talking
It's not a
about,
shareholder,
it
it's owned by
wasn't
CCP.
from China. That wasn't the owner when they did it.
Right.
Smithfield? Yeah,
I
Smithfield
know.
was out of Georgia.
can you,
I
then,
know.
then I guess that's the
Then they
question.
sold
So
it.
let's say nobody comes and asks who has that situation, but that person sells, right, an already abated building. There's really no, is there any legal way to say you might lose your abatement if you sell to a foreign holder? Yeah.
And, you know, the federal government, under Terrorism Act, you know, they may try to amend that and to add some kind of provision to foreclose that, and it would obviously trickle down to local, but that's gonna get challenged constitutionally.
Wasn't the state Indiana looking at, or
I
did
think
they
it could be
pass
just an
something
open
about
question,
foreign ownership?
Yeah,
of-
Representative
Right.
Commons had a
And that
bill
was
this
swaying
year
us at the time.
that went a little bit further than a bill
Yeah.
previous,
We
so
just have to
I don't know all the
vote on that.
specifics, I don't wanna talk out of my lane.
Hey, one at a time.
But there has been several bills the last few years around foreign controlled ownership, just in the ag world, Smithfield and Syngenta are some of the big ones. I don't know about other industries, but the General Assembly is looking at it and addressing it.
Right, but they haven't
Well,
actually
like
done it.
Kent and I just talked about is that we can maybe pose that question when they're actually in front of us, but we don't have it in writing. But we can ask questions and that may help decide on your vote or not.
Yeah.
But that just needs to be a question that somebody remembers to ask. Okay.
Can't be too careful these days.
Okay, the applicant further agrees to not file an appeal for the duration of the abatement unless the assessed value increases by 5%. The 5% rule will not apply to increase due to new construction with the issuance of a permit. The reason for 5% is the burden. If they appeal their taxes and the increase is less than 5%, then the burden is on the taxpayer to explain why they think it's too high. If the burden is over, or if the increase is over 5%, then the burden is on the assessor to explain why they raised it. So that's the reason for that paragraph.
That's fine.
That's question. Then it starts getting into just incentives. Are they going to ask for any additional incentives, yes or no? And if so, what they may be. That would be like if they're wanting road work or ditch work or any of that kind of stuff. Name, title, address, telephone number, and email address of the company representative who may be contacted concerning the application. So those are the things we're asking for. Is there any additional?
What is it?
It says name, title, address, telephone number, and email. So it's just your basic contact information right there. Location of the property, they have to state the parcel number and the street address. Is they state whether or not the application is for an existing building that they're adding on to or new construction of a addition. It asks if the project is an addition to the existing building, is the current structure receiving abatement? Just basic questions. They have to check a box down here as to whether or not it's warehouse/distribution, information technology, speculative, research and development, manufacturing, or other. Those are the types of things that the abatements are allowed for. That you can't abate retail. They don't qualify.
Can I ask a question here on this? Up above it, it talks about the aerial map. And can we put in there that we want a legible? Some of these people, they send us a map and it's black, you can't even see what
I
it
agree.
is.
I'll put that.
Just stick that word in there, a legible aerial map. I mean, I can look it up, but that shouldn't be my responsibility. They should submit a map that you can figure out where it's at. I know it's a little thing, but it can be important.
These will be for owner-occupied buildings, but it says if the building is listed as manufacturing, what will they be producing? If it's a speculative building, can you identify the potential tenant? Most of the time is no. Building on what comes later. I think Gary asked to add this one in that he wanted it to say, what is the estimated FF&E installation date? So that's basically the end date. It asks for the anticipated date of construction to start, the complete, and estimated value of the improvement. And I want to stress on this one because I went back and forth with somebody about that question. The reason we want estimated value, not estimated assessed value, is there is no one out there that is qualified to estimate the assessed value unless they work in that field. Estimated value is what they're going to pull the permit for, and in new construction of large industrial type buildings, the cost approach is usually the approach that's used to value it. So if we know they're putting $40 million into that building, they put it on their permit, then the assessed value should realistically come in close to that assessed permit value, because that's the most reasonable way to assess it. You can't assess it by comparables because there's usually not enough sales in the area to compare that building to, and the cost approach is the best. So that's why I want it to say estimated cost, not estimated assessment.
That's fine.
Because it's been changed and I
Right.
had to change it back, and
Yeah.
but that's the reasoning behind it.
I think when you get to the end, I mean, I don't know if you have this, but if something changes in the document at any time, like contact information or anything, I think we need to know. I think they need to provide that to us. If anything you've submitted ever changes, we need to know.
Okay, I'll put if changes. And then we just have a full page that is for owner-occupied buildings only, and it's a breakdown of their skilled jobs, their hourly rates, the number of people that will be in that position. Do you provide benefits, health insurance, dental, life insurance, those kind of things? It's just check the box kind of stuff. And then there's a signature page, and that's it.
Sounds like a good tweak.
It's a good start. We're meeting today after this meeting, and if we can maybe get it finished up here in the next meeting or so, maybe I can have this the final draft and hand it out. It'll be a one more time looked, and then we can adopt it.
That sounds fine.
I want to ask Scott a question. Can we ask this question, or it says, I hereby affirm under the penalties for perjury that the above and foregoing representations are true. Is that okay to have that in there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's in capitals.
Yeah.
Use it liberally?
I just wanted to be
Scott
sure.
times 2 on that one. Yeah.
All right. Anything else on the abatement? Okay. I've added this onto the thing. This only applies to the second, it doesn't apply to the budget meeting. We're not going to have public comments during that, but I've added a public comment. They have to schedule with the auditor in advance. That's just so the public knows. Auditor, did anybody schedule it? Okay.
I like that you changed that, Scott, because the commissioners have a statement on theirs about everybody does, and we did not, so.
Yeah, and I just
was
want
hoping
it
we could
where
do
the
that.
auditor can know in advance, so then she can help plan it. Because like I said, I don't want the meetings going past 11:30, although today's 9:30.
Well, I will say, I may have gotten a call that I did not relate to Mary, so I didn't know if they had comments they wanted to make, because she had added that as I was taking a call, so I don't know if they wanted to make comments today or not. No, okay.
All right.
I move we adjourn.
All righty,
You have a second to adjourn?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right, we're adjourned.
Clerk, none of those bills passed.